What is important to get a message across to the audience?
I think the most important thing is, the discussion about this content thing. I think the right content is definitely important in relation to that customer journey thing. So I think, again, two words that come to my mind and what I think a lot about is content in the right context. So it's very much about focusing on what is the right content and when do you deliver it. I think that's probably what comes to my mind.
The right content at the right time for that particular customer. How do you use creativity to boost the impact of this content?
I think definitely creativity is important. It's still about, the good idea. It's still about storytelling. It's still about seducing, the customers out there to fall in love with our brand. So nothing has changed there. We just simply have a lot more opportunities. But that's also where it makes it a bit difficult, because it is about how your content is produced. I actually like to think about the way Google look at it, because I think that's actually also a good way of doing it. They talk about when you talk about your communication and the creativity of that, they have actually three terms they have in mind. They have this whole, you still need to have your hero communication, which is the communication where you have a lot of creativity. That's where you see a Jean-Claude Van Damme going in this epic split for Volvo. You have this really creativity. You can almost say it is a commercial, even though people will say it's a piece of content which is viral and stuff like that. It's not. It is, in my opinion, really just advertising, being paid for, so people will see it. And then they have, as another thing, you need to have your hub in place. So you have your hero thing and you have your hub. And the hub is where you have your platform where people, come in. That's where it could be a YouTube channel or whatever, your landing pages. That's where you secure, when people have engaged with you, they have a place to go in and communicate with you. You're as a brand, you need to be a publisher. That's where you have your communication. And then, of course, you have all your, what they call the hygiene form of communication. So that's where you have all your content. Could be small product demos, it could be small videos about, what do I need to know about this Volvo tire or whatever. So I see looking at it in three ways is actually quite good. And of course the creativity has to be part of it in three ways. But I think in the hero part is probably more important than in your hygiene, because in the hygiene part I'm not looking for being specific creativity. I'm looking for giving the customer some information they can use. It doesn't have to be that much creative, I think. That's important in the hero part.
So I think it's back to the sales funnel again, really?
Definitely. Sales funnel is something that is, the good old sales funnel has not changed. I think it's very important to for us, for me, it's something that is very important, the sales funnel, definitely. Looking at that.
Can you come with some examples of content that have really engaged people? Because that's something, there's a lot of talk about how digital advertising enables to engage much more with the customer.
I think there's a lot of examples. I mean, we do a lot of stuff. We actually last year made a YouTube movie for a bank company, which was the most seen video on YouTube. More than 1 million Danish people saw it, and we of course secured. That was the hero thing, being creative. Trying to get something that people would look at, and then of course we secured to have the hub in place, so we exactly knew where we want people to go. And then of course in that whole hub part, you can say, we also had the hygiene way to communicate, so people could go in and look at the product and know more about it. So we actually secured that customer journey sales funnel thing. So that's one, and of course no doubt about the Volvo case is probably maybe the best one. Where people, I can't remember how many millions people have seen that, but that's also, in my opinion, one of the best ways. Having said that, I know it's not something that is viral. It is a campaign paid for as you normally do, but I think the Volvo case is probably a campaign in which we'll see campaigns being done very much more in the future. So there.
There's a lot of different channels. You mentioned the whole customer journey. You have to be creativity in one end of it. You have to be perhaps more concrete when the customer is close to buying and is looking for specific knowledge, and there's a whole lot of different platforms. How do you secure a consistent tone of voice across all these medias?
I think first of all, it's still about having your strategy in place. It's still about having your content plan in place. So you're absolutely secure that the red line is going through wherever you are. I also think it's very important that you have the same tone of voice. You have this even though if you are a publisher, you need to secure that the way you talk, the way you look, what you do, the way you act have to be the same. And I think that's where we see right now many brands having difficulty, that they're not absolutely clear in the way what they do stuff. They're not absolutely clear all the way through all the platforms. And of course it is difficult because there are so many platforms, and you need to be out there. But I think that's, as a brand, you really need to think much about that tone of voice thing, the whole look at you as a publisher. I think that's probably the best thing you can do as a brand, because if you're a newspaper, you have that, exactly what a newspaper, what political situation they are in, exactly how they communicate. They have a kind of a brand they have built up, I think, and as a brand you need to do that also. Look at you as a publisher. I think that's probably the best way to do it.